Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. I hope you all are doing good, you all are great, and I welcome you all today in our another video. We are going to decode one important report. You can just see on a screen that today we are going to see one of the report that includes many of the things that is specially for the medium enterprises. Okay, so along with that we'll also see the case that what are the challenges which are associated with medium enterprises and what new things have been given to medium enterprises specifically to bring boost in this particular enterprise. Along with that we'll see one vision in the investment as well as turnover, including three of the enterprises that we have: micro, small and medium enterprises. Along with that we'll also see many of the schemes which are specifically there given by the government of India to give boost to our MSME sector, along with the recommendations that are necessary to be implemented if we want our MSMEs and specifically medium enterprises to boost in the coming years. When it comes on to MSME specifically, see, these are the enterprises which are very important, or I would say this is one of the important pillar of our economy, because these are the economies which also contribute towards the development of the entire economy when it comes on to India's economy. Whether it is from the perspective of GDP, whether it is from the perspective of GVA, national income, maybe employment, maybe external trade, external sector, it is contributing each and every sector. And this is our responsibility, as in this is a responsibility of the government of India also, to bring up new opportunities for these MSME sectors so that they can also do better here. Firstly, we'll start with what are the improvements, what are the new things that are there for the MSME sectors, what is the introduction here. Then we'll decode about we'll see the introduction of the medium enterprises specifically, and we'll see the rest of the data which is associated with it, as in the static information and with the rest of the things, as in which includes schemes, which includes the contribution, the data itself. So we'll see each and everything, and this particular video is going to be a comprehensive video specifically for your MSMEs and along with the analysis or decoding of this report as well. Now starting with it, you can see on your screen that this is the name of the report itself, that here we are going to talk about designing policy for the specifically our medium enterprises. Along with that, when I specifically talk about medium enterprises, now the question should that should come in your mind that, ma'am, why medium enterprises only, है ना? Why only medium enterprises and why not the micro and small enterprises? So when it comes on to specifically medium enterprises, and specifically when I talk about the cost thing, so medium enterprises are the one which are which somewhere or another lag behind, because the government's focus is more on micro and small enterprises. बिकॉज हम ये चीज़ को ये बोलते हैं ना कि जो चीज़ जो है वो छोटी है तो उसको ग्रो करने का जो पहले वी नीड टू ग्रो इट फर्स्ट एंड देन विल go on to the other things, right? Similar is the case with it. When it comes on to medium and when it comes on to micro and small enterprises, it consists of a lot of problems, and considering that the size is small, considering that the technology is still lacking behind, everything taking into consideration, the more focus is towards the micro as well as small enterprises. But what about medium enterprises? We also need to bring improvement here. So that is the reason specifically this report is considered is there taking into consideration medium enterprises, so that over the period of time we can bring improvement here, because this particular enterprise is of great potential. It has a great potential of contributing towards GDP. It has great potential of contributing towards external trade. It has great potential of employing people as well. And when we know that we have such enterprises which has great potential, who doesn't want to work towards it? So that is the reason we see that this particular report tells us about the analysis and tells us about what are the things which have been brought here. Now considering about the report itself, so NITI Aayog, our greatest, or I would say largest think tank, it is here with the report which is specifically designing a policy specifically for the medium enterprises. And now we'll see that what are the rest of the things which are associated with it, as in what is the new introduction here. So this is medium enterprises proposing a dedicated concessional credit scheme. Okay, so one, we got to know that here we have one thing for specially loan thing. Then and reforms to boost what? India's medium, sized enterprises. That includes enterprises with investment in the plant and machinery up to what? This much. This is what we are going to see. This is just the crux of what we are going to see ahead. Okay. Now, this is a little information about the period, or I would say about MSME, specifically about the historical thing, a little information. Okay. Now, when it comes on to MSME specifically, so this was not MSME right from the history also. Okay. Of course, when it comes on to MSME, this was later kept as MSME, but before that, what was the name? So before, it was Ministry of Small Scale Enterprises and Macro Enterprises, which is now MSME, was created in October 1999, and in the month of September 2001, it was split into two ministries. One was your Ministry of Small Enterprises, Small Scale Enterprises, and another one was your Ministry of Agro, as well as Rural Enterprises. So in the period of 2001, it was split into two. But again, we saw in the year of 2007, it was again combined, and we saw MSME. So here these two ministries were merged again to form what? The Ministry of Micro as well as small and medium enterprises, and this change happened due to the updates in the Government of India Rules 1961. So this is a little essence about the historical part of the MSMEs. Now this is the data which tells you about what is the new upgradation. Okay, what is the new introduction of things. So what we said, that one is the introduction about the credit scheme. Okay, of course, if MSME sector or specifically हो सकता है medium enterprises हो बेटा, हो सकता है micro enterprises हो सकता है small enterprises हो, if it wants to grow, it needs loan, है ना? Even if I talk about you want to start your business, maybe you want to start you have college near your house and you want to start a PG system. So of course you need to build a building for that, right? So you will get loan first from the bank, and then you will build a building, you will construct a building, and then you will see that people and will start with the business process, with the further process. But firstly, what is needed here? Capital. And here, which capital we are going to talk about? We are going to talk about working capital specifically. Now, what is working capital? This is a question in front of us. So when I talk about working capital specifically ना बच्चे, working capital हमारी क्या है? वो capital या फिर वो expenses जो हमारी day to day life में are important to consider. For example, when I specifically talk about working enterprises, या फिर when I specifically talk about working capital, so if there is a rent of the land that you have taken, if you need to pay that comes under the category of working capital, because it is kind of capital which is not creating any asset, and nor it is not reducing any liability also. So this is a kind of expense which is important to take into consideration. But what kind of expense? Which is not creating any asset, nor which is neither creating any asset nor reducing liability. This is a kind of asset that we have. Now when it comes on to day-to-day expenses, of course, then credit is needed. Okay, not credit specifically, but money is needed. And if we need to meet those expenses, we need credit. So here we have an introduction of working credit capital scheme, which includes what? Offering concessional loans. Okay, loan will be provided, but concessional loans will be provided up to 25 of crore, and medium enterprises credit card also. This is the one, the introduction of what? The introduction of the credit, or I would say the concessional loans for specifically working capital. Okay, specifically for what? Working capital. Then we have medium enterprises credit card. So now when I talk about credit card, बेटा credit card का purpose क्या है कि आप जो pre-approved आपके पास जो amount है आपके card में, you can use it whenever you find emergency, whenever you find that you need cash but you do not have, you use that credit card, and for the other facilities also. So similar kind of facility is there for the medium enterprises now, in which what is the pre-approved limit here? That is 5 crore for the emergency funds. Okay, so this is another one. This is the second one. First one, what is first one here, beta? Capital, or I would say the concessional loan specifically for the working capital. Another one that we have is introduction of credit card, which has pre-approved limit of 5 crore, and also if you have emergency, then the fund is kept here. Then when I talk about your non-performing assets, so when do you consider non-performing assets बेटा? अब किसी ने लोन लिया है ना, अब लोन एक इंडिविजुअल जो है, that individual is not able to pay the loan for 90 days. The period is what? The limit here is 90 days, right? But specifically for MSMEs, specifically for medium enterprises, it has been extended. Now we see that the days or the limit is not 90 days, but it has been extended to 180 days. Okay, it has been extended to 180 days specifically for medium enterprises. So this is the third one बच्चे. Okay, जब हम non performing assets की बात करते हैं, so यहाँ पे non performing assets कब होंगे? If any of the medium enterprises is not able to repay the loan for 180 days, then only that particular enterprises will be considered under the category of non performing assets. So the time period has been extended here. Okay, similarly now we'll come on to the technology integration as well as the upgradation of the technology. So what do you need to consider here? The technology in the manufacturing and the technology that enterprises that these enterprises are using are outdated technologies. So we need to bring improvement in it. Everyone has heard about the concept of Industry 4.0. Now what is 4.0? So when it comes on to Industry 4.0 na beta, Industry 4.0 says that okay, we have technology, but now we need to integrate our technology with the coming technology, or I would say advanced technology. For example, we have AI. Okay, so start integrating it here. We have Internet of Things, start integrating it here. We have robotics, start integrating it here. Okay, so using advanced technologies, you are trying to be more effective as well as efficient in nature. Okay, then we have a concept of 5.0 also. This is in general, I'm telling you. Otherwise, the concept which is there in particular report is just Industry 4.0. Okay, we need an introduction of Industry 4.0, but otherwise telling you that what is Industry 5.0, this is an extra concept. Okay, this is an extra concept which I'm telling you here. So Industry 5.0 says that okay, we have an integration of AI, we have an integration of Internet of Things, maybe we have an integration of robotics, maybe, but can these new enterprises, can these new skills work alone? So the answer is no. Of course, if we want to go towards the digitalization, if we want to go towards advanced technology, we need humans to operate. I have told you many times, beta, that although this is the time, this is the period of AI, but no one can replace human mind. No one can replace the creativity that has been put by, specifically by humans or human minds. So what does Industry 5.0 says? That along with the introduction of these many advanced technologies, we also need humans, okay? We also need humans. So what is Industry 5.0? Advanced technologies plus humans. If they work together, we can bring more improvement over the period of time. Okay, if they work together, we can bring more improvement over the period of time. So this is Industry 5.0. But what is specifically said under this, in this particular report, that is the introduction of Industry 5.0. Sorry, that is the introduction of Industry 4.0 along with the advanced technologies that we need. Okay, so that we can bring improvement over the period of time. Similarly, we also need to put focus on R&D as well as innovation. Research and development is one of the foremost steps which every individual also needs to take into consideration. When you are giving this exam, you have gone for the research and development first, then only you jumped into this exam. You have an idea about this कि जब आप इस एग्जाम को क्लियर कर लोगे तो आप कौन से ऑफिसर बनोगे, ठीक है? अगर आपको इस एग्जाम के अंदर बैठना है, सो आपको कौन से पाथ के ऊपर मूव करना पड़ेगा, व्हाट इज द सिलेबस दैट यू नीड टू कवर एंड ईच एंड एवरीथिंग दैट इज एसोसिएटेड विद इट. ओके, नाउ गिविंग सिंपलीफाइंग इट मोर. अगर आपको कहीं घूमने जाना है तो सबसे पहले यू फाइंड आउट द प्लेस, है ना, यू रिसर्च एंड you just you search properly on it, then you analyze that okay, this is the place which is I find suitable for me. Then you find the other things also, which is the pathway from where I need to go, whether I'll be going with through I'll be going in bus or in a car. So you analyze each and everything. And similar is the case at the macro perspective also, that for going further, firstly you need research and development, proper research and development, then only you can move after towards the after one. Then what is specifically for research and development. So the allocation of 25 to 30% of the government funding through Self-Reliant India Fund. Now this is one kind of fund which we are going to see ahead, as in the coming slides we'll discuss about it, but this is a kind of fund that we have specifically for what? Specifically for the medium enterprises research and development. So we will see that there is going to be an allocation of 25 to 30% specifically from the Self-Reliant Fund. Then also there is establishment of 3-tier governance system and to promote competition based funding that is aligned with the national priorities. Now when it comes on to decentralization, या फिर जब 3-tier government के साथ align करने की बात आती है, so it means we are going more transparent in a manner, we are going more effective in a manner. Okay, जब जो काम है that is how to tell you, when it comes on to 3-tier governance also, when it comes on to 3-tier government also, when the allocation, or I would say the governance is divided here, it brings more of the effectiveness. Okay, so this is the purpose here. Then we have cluster based testing as well as quality certification. Cluster based as in that you have, you are producing one good, you are producing one maybe product, so it includes many of the parts. Okay, it includes many of the separate parts. But when it comes on to testing them, so rather than testing them separately, you should have one system. This is in a layman language. Of course the system is quite different when it comes on to the practical working in these enterprises, but just telling you in a simplified manner that we have different parts, and testing them separately includes cost as well as time also. So we should develop one system in which all of the parts should be tested at one time only, which makes us cost effective, as in cost efficient, as well as effective with the time also. So this is what is the cluster based testing. This expand the MSE cluster development program to medium enterprises specifically by setting up sector specific testing facilities within the industry cluster, reducing the cost as I told you, and improving the export quality compliance through what? Public private partnership specifically. Then we have customized skill development also. So I have told you beta many a times that your degree is of no relevance until or unless you know the future, you know that what is demanded. Okay, you are studying, that is good enough, but if you do not know that what is the future, where do I need to invest my time, how will you be very productive in the coming period of time? Okay, so we need to focus on skills. The future is AI, or I would say more than AI, the future is skills. If you have this particular skill, if you have any of the particular skill which you find relevant for you beta, you are going to be irreplaceable, and that is what is going to make you fit best in any of the particular industry. So here the focus is on what? The skill development, enhance of the real-time skill gap mapping via MSME Sampark portal that we have. These are the many schemes that we have, which we are going to see in the coming slides. But here, what is the focus? The crux is that what is the new introduction here? Okay, and expand the entrepreneurship skill development program to include cluster-specific technology linked as well as export-oriented training also. Then we have centralized digital portal, which includes create dedicated sub-portal on the platform, consolidating information on schemes, compliance, finance, market access, integration of AI tools for the eligibility assistance, as well as compliance tracking for real-time regulatory as well as market updates also. Okay, now a little information about the data itself. What does it include? When it comes on to GDP, how it is, how much it is contributing. When it comes on to employment, how much it is contributing. So specifically, the sector significance is understood by the contribution of nearly 29% to the country's GDP and 40% to total export, and employing what? 60% of the nation's workforce. Okay, and this is for what? To produce 6,000 of distinct products. So this information is important beta for all of you, because if a question is asked tomorrow, so you people should remember the data which is specifically mentioned here. Okay, now this is the most important part that we have. For sure the question will be asked either in GA or maybe in the phase 2 also. This question is going to be asked because this is the new introduction, or I would say revision of the classification. So now we see the previous revision was, the earlier classification was seen in July 2020, and now we see in the 2025 that the revision has been made just because of the, the situation that is going on in economy. So prior case, when it comes on to micro, so what was the investment? Was 1 crore, and what was the turnover? It was 10, it was 5 crore. And when it comes on to now, the revision one, now we have investment of 2.5 crore, and when it comes on to turnover specifically, so we have 10 crore. Okay, this is the revised one. Similarly, for small enterprises, if your enterprises want to get considered into MSME or small enterprises, you first need investment of 10 crores, and your turnover should be what? Your turnover should be 50 crore. Now, what is the revised one? So, your investment should be 25 crores, and the revision is what? The turnover should be 100 crore. Specifically, when it comes on to medium enterprises. So, before the revision, what was the case? The investment which was needed was 50 crore, and if you want to go to for the turnover, that was what? That was 250 crore. Now we see that revised one. Okay, now we have investment of what? 125 crores, and we have turnover of what? 500 of crore. So I am just getting out of the frame so that you people can see the chart clearly, and this is the most important chart that you have, and you need to revise it. Okay, revise it regularly, and you need to just mug up these numbers so that you people do not forget. Now, specifically telling you about the scenario itself, what does MSME scenario includes, and what is the other sectors that it includes. So here it says that as per Udyam portal, India has 5.93 crore MSMEs within micro enterprises, forming over 98%, while jo medium enterprises, they account just for what? 0.3%, that is 69,300 units only. That is the reason we are focusing towards it. Okay, and beta, again I'm telling you, just consider that you are remembering these data. Okay, you are remembering this data because it is going to help you in the future. Similarly, when it comes on to the registered one, so out of 2.95 crore registered MSMEs, as per the annual report 23-24, 72% are engaged in the services sector 1, and remaining are engaged in the manufacturing sector. Now you will ask me that, ma'am, why there is an integration, why there is a diversification? Because we are calling it enterprises. Okay, but when it specifically comes on the enterprises, so it has two of the works. It includes the services also, and it includes the manufacturing part also. So since it includes both, it is also important to see the numbers separately. So services sector mein we have what? We have 72% are engaged in the services sector, and then remaining 28% are in the manufacturing sector. This is the data which I specifically mentioned here. Now specifically talking about the MSMEs, so 2.9, I have already told you that out of 2.95 crore, 72 are engaged in the services sector, and 28 are engaged in the manufacturing sector. Okay. Now this is the contribution here when it comes on to GDP. So MSMEs contribute approximately what? 29% to the India's GDP, and they are playing a crucial role in the economic development, specifically integrating it. So 2019 में 2020 में case क्या था? They were contributing 30.48%. Similarly, when it comes on to 21, 22, so we are contributing now 29.15%. Okay. Now this is specifically employment, and this is the export one. So I've already told you that when it comes on to medium enterprises, so यहाँ पे जो हमारे medium जो MSME है, that contributes 62%. 62% of the country's workforce, okay, of the country's what? Of the country's workforce, and this sector generates employment of what? For 18.36 crore people. Okay, this is what? 18. Approximately 5 crore among them are women. 5 crore is specifically women. Okay. Now, per unit of employment is generated by what is this? 89.14. Specifically talking about the export. So exports, we have 40%. Exports are 40%, and only 1.36 of the registered MSME exports. Okay. Similarly, out of which 64 units have export turnover of less than 1 crore, while micro and small enterprises make up exporting 91% of their contribution towards the total exports value of what? 60% of the total MSME exports, while जो हमारे medium enterprises है, they contribute 9% only, contributing 40% of the MSME export. So this is the data what is said here. Then we have schemes. Why I have taken into consideration? Because these are the schemes were specifically in the budget 22-23. Now this is the allocation only. Here we are going to see these many schemes in the coming slides, and this is not the explanation of them, but just the allocation of the budget itself. So here we are going to see these many schemes. Now I have already told you that the large focus is towards the micro as well as small enterprises. But what is the case? Why we are more focusing towards the micro enterprises as well as small enterprises and not on the medium enterprises? These are the many factors or the rationale behind it. One is that large chunk of MSME population is towards what? Is towards the, these enterprises only, that is 99%. Similarly, these enterprises, when it comes on to micro and small enterprises, these are lacking in the resources also. So we are the one, as in the government, needs to focus on that and also bring improvement over the period of time in it. So just to make an availability of the resources, we are improving it more. Then when it comes on to employment generation, so since micro and small enterprises are more labor intensive and they provide a significant share of the employment in sectors like we have manufacturing, like we have agriculture as well as services also, that is the reason we are more focusing towards it. Similarly, sustainable development goals. So in order to reduce and in order to achieve our sustainable development goals, they are also very contributing highly. So one of the sustainable development goals that we have as in that taking into consideration poverty and the rest of the things, it is generating employment and that will lead to reduction in the poverty. So this is the one which is making us to go towards that. Similarly, perceived inclusivity, as in that when it comes on to micro and small enterprises, so people call them pro-poor inclusivity, okay? People call them, poor enterprises. But we need to replace that. We need to make it more effective as well as efficient also. That is the reason government is continuously working towards it. Now the next chapter is focused on role and economic impact of the medium enterprises. Just wait a minute, let me have my water and then we'll continue, okay? Alright, so we've already understood this thing beta, that medium enterprises are the one who accounts only for 0.3% of the total MSMEs and with a total of 67,923 entities. And out of these also, there are 39,395, that is 58% of the medium enterprises are engaged into what? Manufacturing activities. Remaining when it comes on to subsidies, so it includes what? 42%, okay, it includes 42%. And similarly, when it comes on to contribution towards GDP, so we have known this thing that for about 31.8% is of the India's GDP, of the India's GVA, and specifically translating to approximately 1.18 trillion USD to overall GDP of 3.7 trillion. So this is the data and this is the contribution which is important. I'm putting asterisk here. This is important to consider beta. Okay. Then specifically when it comes on to manufacturing sector, so it accounts for 13 to 14% of India's GDP. Sorry, amounting to approximately 481 billion to 5118 billion USD in 2023. So that is the reason we are focusing towards it. Then when it comes on to the medium enterprises contribution here, so they are contributing towards the forex earnings also. That is what? USD 50,562.1%, that is nearly 40% of the total MSMEs exports income. Then it also says that it has employment as an average of 89.14 people per entity, that is compared to 19.11 in small enterprises and 5.70 in medium enterprises. So this tells about the potential, okay? This tells us about the potential of the medium enterprises, that it has potential, but all we need to do is to focus and to bring improvement in the medium enterprises, so that over the period of time it can better perform. Similarly, it has high employment and capital ratio also, and significantly it is more famous towards rural areas, tier 2 and maybe tier 3 cities also. Okay, now we are going to talk about the employment, as in that we are going to talk about the data that is specifically mentioned by the Udyam portal. So we have analyzed that there is an incremental increase in the specifically your medium enterprises, and this is because in the 3 sectors. Okay, this is analysis from 3 sectors itself. It is rich in employment, it is rich in R&D investment, and also it is rich in foreign exchange income. But all we need to do is to bring more improvement over the period of time here only, so that we can see great potential in it. Now what is the potential or loss or gain from the economy? So this says that the economy, or when it comes on to specifically medium enterprises, it is the underutilization, okay? It is still under the underutilization of the employment potential. So we have read this thing that this is great in generating employment opportunities, but still somewhere or another it is lacking behind. So we need to knock the doors We need to utilize or we need to exploit the resources that are still untouched. We need to touch them, we need to exploit them so that we can bring improvement in the coming period of time, as in specifically taking into consideration employment and taking into consideration the broader goals that we have as sustainable development goals. Okay, then we have suboptimal R&D investment also. It is still not optical in a manner, it is still not sufficient in a manner as much as it is needed, as much as medium enterprises need it. It is not meeting that. So for that it is very, very important that we are putting money into research and development so that they can better perform. Because research and development, this is the foremost step. Okay, when it comes on to specific or when it comes on to the first step, this is the one of the most important step that each and every enterprises need to take into consideration so that it can better perform. Because if you do not have plan, you will not be able to move in that path. Okay, so for that, research and development, investing on research and development is very, very important. Then we have lower forex income. Okay, but we need to improve it. Forex income अगर कम है, so focus towards the technology, right? Forex income कैसे बढ़ेगी? अगर हम अपनी टेक्नोलॉजी को अपग्रेड करेंगे, ठीक है? अगर हम हमारा जो ह्यूमन एसेट है, अगर हम स्किल्ड ह्यूमन एसेट रखेंगे, ठीक है? अगर हम कॉस्ट एफिशिएंसी की तरफ ध्यान देंगे, ठीक है? जैसे हमने क्लस्टर बेस्ड पढ़ा था, है ना? I think my writing has gone worse. Cost efficiency. Then we also need to make our things more effective in a manner, right? If they are not effective, we will not be able to better perform. And the other things also which are associated with it, and these are the losses and these are the solutions how we can bring improvement in this particular sector. Okay, then we have challenges and the current state of the affairs, a deep dive into the medium enterprises. So what are the challenges here? So broadly we have 7 challenges, which is 1, awareness of the schemes. Of course, this is what we are going to decode it more in the coming slides, but generally telling you. अब हमें क्या होता है कि taking into consideration our example also, we do not have an idea about each and every scheme. Of course, we try our best to cover more and more, but still taking into consideration that we have less about idea about the the schemes that we have. So for that it is very, very important beta that we take into consideration. ठीक है, we take that particular thing into consideration कि हमें कि एक जो गवर्नमेंट है वो एक ऐसा प्लेटफॉर्म जो है, एक ऐसा प्लेटफॉर्म बनाए जहाँ पे हर एक जो चीज़ का नॉलेज है वो अवेलेबल हो, सो दैट MSME specifically can get to know that what are the things, what are the schemes specifically for them, so that they can better perform and they can take benefit of that resource. Similarly, we have technology upgradation. I told you already that we need to go towards the industry 4.0 and that is an introduction here, right? यहाँ पे भी किसकी introduction हुई है? Industry 4.0 की ही हुई है, that we need to go to towards it. If you want to increase your forex income, if you want more introduction or more contribution towards GDP, maybe GVA, maybe employment, we need to bring investment first into it and then only we can expect improvement over the period of time. Similarly, we also need skilled manpower. ऐसा नहीं है कि कोई individual है who is lacking here and it is working only. Okay, the one is just working without having any skills. Of course, if we want to go towards the technology upgradation, so जब हम AI की बात करते हैं, जब हम robotics की बात करते हैं, do you think an individual who doesn't have an idea about technology, who is not literate at all, can handle these technologies? The answer is no. So we need to go with the proper training, we need to go with each and everything so that they people can understand and they people can become skilled. Similarly, compliance as in ease of doing business हो गया, बाकी चीजें हो गई which are associated with it. Then we have innovation barriers also. Okay, then we have funding which needs investment and land infrastructure also. Sometimes they are charged more for land, so we need to reduce that cost. Okay, now it says the awareness of scheme. So this data says that only 25% is the data when it comes on to the awareness of the schemes. Only 25% are aware of the schemes that we have. Now specifically the key players of MSME ecosystem are largely unaware about the online platforms which are able and which are giving them ease of doing business, but they are unaware about that. So how we can expect the improvement over the period of time? So here the government says that platforms such as we have Nivesh Mitra, such as we have GEM, government e-marketplaces. Okay, we have other platforms, Sampark portal, we have other platforms as well. People are unaware about it, so we need to make them available about of these information. So only 10% 10% of the dedicated, they use resources like Navish Mitra, NCD India, GEM, and the reports suggest that while more than 70% of the MSMEs are aware that a variety of government scheme exist, information about eligibility ho gaya, application ho gaya, how to enroll in it, what is the fund that will be provided to them, they are unaware about these, many of the not inside news, but exactly the proper working towards it. So this is what we need to focus on. Similarly, the underutilization highlights what the beneficiaries and unaware of the support that is available to them and the potential benefit that they can get from availing it. Similarly, there are barriers of the competitiveness. अगर उनको पता ही नहीं चलेगा बेटा कि हमारे पास कौन कौन सी schemes है, कैसे हम better perform कर सकते हैं, so how they can compete. Now take into consideration that we have GEM, but they are not taking benefit of it, and the government wants them to compete. How they will compete when another player has advanced technology and that is becoming more effective. अब consider करो कि एक जो individual है वो still Excel के ऊपर टिका है और जो एक दूसरा individual है, that particular individual is using AI. So what do you think? Which individual will be more effective and efficient in nature? Of course, the one who is using AI. So similar is the case here, that we cannot expect the competitiveness from them when they are not using and they are not aware of these many things. Similarly, ineffective implementation is another one, and potential for centralized solutions is another one. Then we have technological upgradation, very simple in a manner that we are still dependent on the outdated technology, and we need to improve it over the period of time, and there is an introduction of Industry 4.0 here. Okay, there's an introduction of Industry 4.0 here. Okay, so you need to just remember that. अब अगर technology outdated होगी तो वो तो कोई भी अगर हमारी इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स खराब होती है या फिर इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स अगर पुरानी हो जाती है, so it includes more cost. So of course this is the case here also, that the government says that if your technology is more outdated in a manner, it is of course including cost. So why to put more cost on the betterment or maybe the on the working of the outdated technology only, rather than putting that money which we are utilizing on the maintenance of the outdated technology, rather than start putting that particular money into the introduction of upgradation technology so that we can better perform and become cost efficient also. So outdated technology is another one, high cost of implementation, ineffective outreach of the schemes is another one, and the tools that we have as in custom relationship management, enterprise resource planning, human resource management system, and their usage remains critically low, that is just 14 to 15%, 45%. This is just 14%, okay? This is just 14%. And now we also say that according to this, okay, when we are not utilizing these things, it is not making MSME specifically to get a benefit of ease of doing business, okay? Ease of doing business. They are not going towards it, rather they are still dependent on the outdated technology. Then there comes another part which is skilled skilled manpower. We need to bring them skills into them so that they can better perform. We've read this thing now, that whatever knowledge we are getting from the institutes and what is what industries demand from us, there's a huge gap between them, and we need to improve it over the period of time. We need to bridge the gap. We've read this thing now. So similar is the case here. So this includes low utilization of the skill development schemes, perceived irrelevance, lack of awareness about the schemes that we have. Similarly, need for the industry relevant specialized skill development is what is needed here. Limited specialized training is what is provided, and we need to bring them more, as in हमें और ज़्यादा जो है उनको training देने की ज़रूरत है so that they can better perform. We are humans. What is the case? What is the thing which we cannot learn? Of course, we have made many of the things. We've made the buildings surrounded by we are surrounded by. Similarly, we've made advanced technology. AI भी किसने बनाया? Human mind ने बनाया. So we need to bring them training and we need to bring them skills so they can better perform. Brain train. अब लोग क्या करते हैं, यहाँ से अच्छा भला अपना जो information लेके, अच्छे knowledge लेके, they go outside and then serve. So this is also the problem that we have. High attrition rates is one, absenteeism as well as high wage rates is another one, unionization, work stoppage, training cost and relevance, bridging the skill gap and focus on the specialized training, and these are the many things that we have and we need to bring improvement in them, okay? And these are the very simple points, I need not to explain them, these are the simplest points that we have. Bridging the skill gap, do I need to tell that? Okay, bridging the skill gap as in whatever information we are getting from the colleges, maybe universities, and what university, what job is demanding from us, that is not same. There is a huge gap between that, and we need to bridge that particular gap. So as simple as that. Okay, absenteeism as well as high wage rate, that people are not regular with their work. High wage rate, is what they need, but when they are not properly, according to the rate that they are getting, according to the wages that they are getting, they're not contributing equally. So this is also one of the problems that we have. Similarly, we have other things also. Then we have compliance, as in ease of doing business. When people do not have an idea about the schemes itself, what we can expect? Can they go towards ease of doing business? No. What is ease of doing business here, beta? For example, if any of the individual has knowledge about GEM, B individual doesn't have knowledge about that. A individual has knowledge about government e-marketplaces, another individual doesn't have. Now, considering who will be more effective here? Of course, the one who has knowledge about e-marketplaces, and not specifically knowledge, but that is practically implementing it also. Okay, so when we do not have lack of, when we have lack of awareness, when we have lack of awareness, this leads to lack of ease of doing business also. Okay, lack of ease of doing business as well. So it is very important that they have knowledge about schemes that is there by the government of India, so that they can better have knowledge about it. Similarly, बहुत बार inspector visit और जो compliance burden होता है, this is also one of the hurdle in front of them. Multiplicity of notices is one of the hurdle in front of them. Lack of centralized information guidance, complexity and volume of compliance requirement for medium enterprises, disincentivizes for the upgrading as well as knowledge gap also. So these are the many things. These are the many when it comes on to obstructions are there in front of them, and they need to bring their focus on them so that they can better perform. अब हम deregulation के ऊपर ध्यान देते हैं बेटा, है ना? किसके ऊपर ध्यान देते हैं? Deregulation के ऊपर. Why? Because when we see that there is high involvement of the government of India, so things are not, things doesn't work in that manner. Okay, so we need to ensure that there is less introduction, or I would say less involvement of the government of India, as in less government of any government. Okay, less involvement of the any government if they want their businesses to work in a better way. So there is the less the involvement, the better is the performance. अब छोटे-छोटे चीजों के ऊपर उनके ऊपर burden डालने से अच्छा, it is better that we put penalty to them maybe, so that they cannot repeat that particular mistake again. But if the mistake is small, of course we can compromise on that part. Okay, next we have is innovation and barrier. अब innovation barrier में क्या आएगा कि हमारे पास देख तो inadequate support है innovation के लिए. Of course, if we want betterment, we need more creativity, we need more innovation so that we can better perform, और हमारा जो infrastructure है वो भी better way से हम perform कर सके, as in better way से build कर सके. Financial risk of innovation is what is associated here. Only 22% of the medium enterprises are engaged in their R&D activities, and we need to bring and allocate budget here. अब यहाँ पे allocation of budget हुआ है ना? You tell me in the comment section that what is the allocation of budget here. I just told you in the starting of the video. I want to see that if you people remember it or not. Then we have global practices could serve as a model as well as structure mechanism for the R&Ds. What is required here? Now we have funding as in चाहे वो working capital के लिए हो, ठीक है, चाहे वो investment के लिए हो, we need funding here. Okay, we need funding here. Now we have two obstructions in front of us. One is collateral requirement, another one is limited availability of working capital loans. What is collateral? For example, that स्वामित्व scheme. सभी ने सुना है. अब स्वामित्व scheme जो है वो किसके लिए थी? अब यहाँ पे मैं सिंप्लीफाई कर रही हूँ, दिस इज नॉट एसोसिएटेड विद इट. ओके, सो व्हेन इट कम्स ऑन टू स्वामित्व स्कीम, सो वो क्या थी कि हम क्या करेंगे, मैपिंग और ड्रोन टेक्नोलॉजी के यूज के थ्रू हम जो लैंड है उनको रजिस्टर करना स्टार्ट कर देंगे, सो दैट पीपल इफ दे वांट टू बिल्ड अ हाउस, मे बी दे वांट टू दे वांट टू गो विद सम बिजनेस मे बी ऑन दैट पर्टिकुलर पीस ऑफ लैंड, दे कैन गो फॉर दैट, बिकॉज इफ दे वांट लोन they need to put collateral on that. और अगर उनके पास, अगर देखो, अगर कोई भी बिजनेस स्टार्ट करना, अगर लोन नहीं होगा तो हमारा बिजनेस भी स्टार्ट नहीं होगा, है ना? आज के टाइम पे इतना ज़्यादा जो वेल्थ है, आई वुड से दैट मोस्ट ऑफ द पॉपुलेशन डजंट हैव. ऑफ कोर्स दे नीड फर्स्टली इन्वेस्टमेंट, एंड देन ओनली दे कैन गो टुवर्ड्स अ फर्दर बिजनेस स्टार्ट. of course we know this thing that we have 1% of the population only who is wealthy and who is having 40% of the wealth, but take into consideration of the other parts of society, as in other individuals, we need credit, okay, we need loan, and for that collateral is very much needed. So here is the case, जब हमने स्वामित्व की बात करी so उसमें भी क्या था कि हमने registries करना start कर दी so that people can put their land as collateral and they can start their business or can take credit easily. Similar is the case here, that firstly collateral requirement is needed here, and for that it is very important that we are bringing them with that, and that too at a very very low interest rate. So next we have is limited availability of the working capital loan. So यहाँ पे working capital loan के लिए भी कि जो limit है वो बहुत कम है, and we understood this thing ना, that there is an introduction of the working capital as well as credit scheme also, credit card scheme also. Now you people again tell me in the comment section that what is the availability, or you can say that what is the amount that has that has been specifically allocated for one working capital, another one is credit card. Okay, you tell me these too many things, the amount here. Then we have a shift towards the alternate financing, that just do not focus towards one only but shift towards another, but that should be legal in a manner. Interest rates and loan amounts should be loan amounts should be educated in a manner, and interest rate जो है वो कम होने चाहिए. Similarly, India Digital MSME Credit Report 2023 says that there is a critical gap between the demand and supply for credit for the medium enterprises, that emphasizes the urgent need for the financial solutions, and we need to give them, and there is a necessity for the financial literacy also, and they should be able to access what working capital loans. This is what is required here. Then we have land and infrastructure. Land and infrastructure as in कि बहुत बार होता है कि land and infrastructure के लिए उनके पास जो है उनके पास उतनी cost जो है वो देने के लिए नहीं होती है. So these are the many things and problems under it. For example, high land cost, bureaucratic delays बहुत बार होते हैं. Similarly, red tapeism is what you can add here. Okay. Then we have infrastructure development, that is less inadequate support from the district government or industry center, state subject implementations, another one. Then we have need for the streamlined regulatory processes, what is needed here. Okay, now we'll go towards the MSME policy landscape. Okay, so you see here that we have many of the schemes here. This is the chart, you can just remember it, and now we are going to see the schemes specifically for MSME sectors one by one. So the first scheme that we have is employment generation program. Now considering the scheme itself, बेटा तुम लोग को पता लग गया होगा कि जो employment generation है वो किसके लिए है. Specifically जो हमारे MSME sector है उसके अंदर हम employment generation या फिर हम कौन सी ऐसी schemes ला सकते हैं. This is a particular scheme that is particularly for the employment generation. This is the crux of it. Okay. Now जो objective है इसका वो क्या है? That is providing employment opportunity, that I've already told you. जो area of support है क्या है? Financial support and skill development provide करना. And eligibility क्या है, that is micro enterprises, the eligibility here. Okay, this is a kind of credit linked subsidy that is specifically for providing employment opportunities, and this is the main function of it. Okay, next we have is credit guarantee trust fund of MSE, that is your credit guarantee fund trust for micro as well as small enterprises. Again the focus, the objective is what कि जो लोन है या फिर जो हमारा क्रेडिट सिस्टम है वो कोलेटरल फ्री लोन प्रोवाइड करना, कि सबसे पहले अगर उनको वर्किंग कैपिटल चाहिए, अगर उनको लोन चाहिए, सबसे पहले दे नीड टू पे कोलेटरल, एज इन दे नीड टू कीप कोलेटरल इफ दे वांट टू गेट लोन, इफ दे वांट अमाउंट फ्रॉम द बैंक इटसेल्फ. So they are providing what? They are providing collateral free loan just for the credit support, specifically for the medium, micro as well as small enterprises. Okay. Then we have financial support that is provided here. Eligibility I've already told you, that is micro, and small enterprises. The rest of the data you can just see by yourself. Okay. The cap is important and the other things also. Then we have self-reliant fund. Self-reliant fund is important to take into consideration because we saw this thing that in research and development the allocation will be here from the self-reliant India fund only. So this is one of the initiatives which have been taken under the package of Atmanirbhar Bharat, and that is designed for what? To support our MSMEs through equity funding one rather than the loans. Okay, so we have this focus that we go towards the funding, as in we go towards the equity funding and not specifically towards the loan, so they can better perform over the period of time. Okay, now we have national ST hub. अब नेशनल SC/ST हब क्या बोलेगा कि हमने इनको सपोर्ट प्रोवाइड करना है, ठीक है, फाइनेंशियल सपोर्ट हमें प्रोवाइड करना है, बट कौन से एंटरप्रेन्योर्स को, कौन से एंटरप्राइजेस को, जो कि स्पेसिफिकली SC/ST ओरिएंटेड है, ठीक है, एज इन कि इट इज टू ओपन SC/ST MSMEs with at least 51% of the ownership, and under this various components interventions have been introduced here and specifically to take into consideration the interest of SC and STs. Okay, then we have what? Procurement and marketing support scheme, that is to provide domestic as in market है ना, तो हम यहाँ पे क्या करेंगे, मार्केट एक्सेस जो है वो प्रोवाइड करना स्टार्ट कर देंगे, उनको ईज ऑफ डूइंग बिजनेस देना स्टार्ट कर देंगे, ठीक है, जैसे हमारे पास जेम है, दैट इज गवर्नमेंट ई मार्केट प्लेसेस, ओके, दैट इज फॉर व्हाट, टू ब्रिंग ईज ऑफ डूइंग बिजनेस. Similar is the case here also, that procurement and marketing support scheme provides domestic as well as international market access for the MSEs as in micro and small enterprises. जो area of support है वो कहाँ दिया जाएगा, marketing access के access में, skill development में, and objective is to provide domestic and international market access to specifically micro and small enterprises. Then we have international cooperation scheme, as in कि it aims to build MSMEs for entering the export market. International cooperation as in कि हम जो भी प्रोडक्शन होती है, जो भी हमारे प्रोड्यूसर्स यहाँ पे एसोसिएटेड है, जो भी हमारे मैन्युफैक्चरर्स यहाँ पे एसोसिएटेड है, वी गिव देम एक्सेस ऑफ द एक्सपोर्ट्स ऑल्सो, दे गिव देम एक्सेस ऑफ द इंटरनेशनल मार्केट ऑल्सो, so that they can increase the market. Okay, they can increase their market here. Now what is the objective? To provide international market access and financial support will be provided to them, and specifically for 3 of the enterprises, that is micro, small and medium enterprises. Then we have Vishwakarma scheme. Vishwakarma scheme as in कि ये specifically किन के ऊपर फोकस करेगा, हमारे जो artisans हो गए, similarly जो हमारे hand and tools, okay, with their hand and tools craft people हो गए, it is going to specifically focus on them. Okay, अब यहाँ पे जो objective है वो है artisans को और हमारे जो artisans हैं उनको benefit provide करना. Area of support क्या है, financial support is provided to them and eligibility is for artisans only. Then we have ramp scheme. Okay, ramp is raising and accelerating MSME performance, that is also very very important to take into consideration. अब इसका जो main aim है वो क्या है कि हमने एक चीज पढ़ी थी, that is 3-tier government. Okay, कि यहाँ पे जो allocation है, फिर जो हमारी जो support है, that will be through the 3-tier government, everyone will be included here. So similar is the case here, to include what, center and state collaboration to enhance the outreach of the MSME schemes, कि जो MSME जो हमारी schemes हैं उनकी awareness के लिए we need collaboration here. Okay, we need collaboration from the central government as well as the state government also, and the further decentralized system also, that they can reach out to them. Okay, similarly जो area of support है, that is going to be on technology upgradation as well as training, and it includes 3 of the enterprises, that is again micro, small and medium enterprises. Then we have cluster development program. Cluster development program भी अब क्या है बच्चे, जैसे मैंने आपको बैंगलोर का एग्जांपल दिया. अब बैंगलोर क्या है, ये क्लस्टर बेस्ड है, क्योंकि यहाँ पे जितनी भी सर्विसेज है, जितनी भी कंपनीज हैं, दैट आर बेस्ड एंड इन द नियर एरियाज ओनली. ऐसा नहीं है कि आपको एक स्टेट छोड़ के दूसरी स्टेट जाना पड़ेगा अगर आपको किसी चीज़ की अवेलेबिलिटी चाहिए. सिमिलर इज द केस विद क्लस्टर डेवलपमेंट ऑल्सो, कि जितने भी टूल्स की जब हम टेस्टिंग करते हैं तो वो क्या हम एक ऐसा सिस्टम डेवलप करें दैट दे आर नियर, सो दैट वी कैन ब्रिंग more cost efficiency as well as effectiveness also. Okay, so micro and small enterprises cluster based development is for that, and which is launched to enhance the productivity as well as competitiveness in the micro and small enterprises through the cluster development approach. Then we have Sfurti. Sfurti means scheme of fund for regeneration of traditional industries. जैसे हमारी coir industries होगी, जैसे हमारी खादी होगी इंडस्ट्री होगी, जैसे हमारी village industries होगी, इनकी improvement की तरफ ध्यान देना, because they are no more only domestic industries, but it has reached to the international market also, and this is our need, this is our responsibility to work more towards that, so we can bring improvement here. Then we have specifically for the northeastern as well as Sikkim to provide benefits to their in their economy also, कि अब हमारे पास benefits जो है हमारे पास हैं, अब हम क्या करें कि हम अपने system को इतना better करें so that they can also get benefit out of it. Okay, so technology or reaching the technology to in their areas also, so that they can also take in benefit of it. Objective क्या है, establishing mini technology center in this northeast region specifically. Area of support क्या रहेगा, infrastructure development, technology upgradation, and specifically includes 3 of the enterprises, that is medium, small and micro, and small and medium enterprises. Then we have ATI scheme, that is specifically for the training scheme, assistance to training scheme. अब training scheme यहाँ पे क्या बोलती है कि लोगों को skills provide करना, properly training provide करना, so that they can better perform. अगर वो किसी चीज में, जैसे अब हमने कहा कि हम क्या करेंगे, introduction of there is an introduction of industry 4.2. But do you really think that without having any knowledge about AI things, without having any knowledge about advanced technology, people can work on that? The answer is no. So of course they need training over the period of time so that they can better perform. So this is also there to enhance the capabilities of the national level training institutions. Training is what the area of support here, and it includes 3 of the enterprises, that is micro, small and medium enterprises. Then we have entrepreneurship and skill development program that has one aim to promote entrepreneurship skills among individuals, so that more and more people we see in these enterprises. Okay, now again we need to include people as in we need to include young minds, creativity, okay, more effectiveness, more efficiency. So it includes promoting entrepreneurship among youth. Training, skill development and is what is going to be a support area, and it includes 3 enterprises, that is micro, small and medium enterprises. Okay, then we have Aspire as in a scheme for promotion of innovation, rural industry as well as entrepreneurship, which aims to foster entrepreneurship primarily in the rural areas. चाहे वो क्वायर विकास योजना हो, चाहे वो क्वायर की डेवलपमेंट हो, एज इन इस एरिया में, इस इंडस्ट्री में वर्क करना हो, चाहे वो विलेज इंडस्ट्रीज हो, चाहे वो रूरल इंडस्ट्रीज हो, चाहे वो खादी इंडस्ट्रीज हो, हम चाहे वो एग्रीकल्चरल सिस्टम हो, चाहे वो छोटे छोटे बिजनेसेस हो, हम उनको कैसे हाउ वी कैन ब्रिंग मोर इंप्रूवमेंट इन देम इज द टास्क ऑफ द एस्पायर हियर. क्वायर विकास योजना इज अनदर वन कि जो हमारे पास क्वायर है, एज इन दिस इज अ काइंड ऑफ फाइबर दैट वी हैव, दैट कोकोनट से you know that thing, that it is they're made by the coconut. So here we see that for the development of the coir industry we have this particular scheme, that is Coir Vikas Yojana. Okay, then we have specifically for khadi also in the village industries also, that is Khadi Gramodaya Vikas Yojana, कि हमारा जो खादी है, ठीक है, खादी को हम क्या कर सके, हम improvement कैसे कर सके over the period of time, and we need to not focus towards the domestic purpose only, rather we need to bring it and give it the international market also. Under it we have major components, that is Khadi Vikas Yojana, another one is Gramodaya Vikas Yojana. Okay, then we have recommendations here which are given so that we can bring improvement over the period of time. So we need to focus on these many things, which is indicating the support specifically in the financial access one, then technology integration another one, to focus towards research and development, enhance support when it comes on to cluster based testing, and need for the centralized digital portal for MSMEs. अब ये सारे जो इंट्रोडक्शन है वो हो चुके हैं, हमने क्रेडिट कार्ड सिस्टम देखा, हमने देखा कि मीडियम वर्किंग कैपिटल के लिए लोन जो है वो प्रोवाइड करा जाएगा. सिमिलरली खादी इंडस्ट्रीज होगी, कोयर इंडस्ट्रीज होगी, इनके ऊपर भी ध्यान दिया जाएगा. इंडस्ट्री 4.0 इंटीग्रेशन है. फिर उसके बाद हमने क्या इंक्लूड करा, हमने R&D जो है, हमने R&D के ऊपर भी हमने देखा कि जो बजट है वो एलोकेट करा जाएगा, ठीक है, so that we can go towards the cluster development also. Okay, then we have simplification of the compliance formalization, that is कि जो हमारे tax rules है, जो complex tax rules है वो burden create करता है, so try to simplify them. India should adopt a unified tax filing system so that they can better perform. Similarly, to support the growing firms, okay, the 3-year transaction with the tax benefits will give them more easiness. Real time monitoring and policy evaluation is what is needed here, and we need a system also which is one time solution, as in कि सारी जो schemes है सिर्फ उसी पोर्टल पे आ जाएं, ताकि जो individuals है उनको timely एक recall चला जाए कि देखो ये scheme जो है आपके लिए, if you find it good you can just enroll in it. Okay, similarly a high powered MSME transformation council should be coordinated data collection as well as policy oversight for a better monitoring as well as evaluation also. Similarly, we need to focus towards the access of finance also. We need to promote our technology, that is integration of 4.0 only, and these centers provide affordable tech support, another one, build skills and entrepreneurship, another one, and include women also, make it gender, focus on gender parity. Along with that we also need skill development. Okay, skills के ऊपर भी ध्यान देना. For that we also need to focus towards training part. We also focus towards including youth so that we can better perform. Okay, so we need to expand our market access as well as branding also. Then we need to go for the inclusive growth, that is important to take into consideration. Okay, so all right, this is it. These are the recommendations, these are the many important things that were important for all of us to take into consideration, and this is all about the scheme, or I would say this is all about the news itself, as in the report itself. I hope each and everything is clear to all of you beta. If still you have any doubt, you can just write in the comment section that ma'am, I'm not able to understand this concept. Please repeat it. I'll ensure that I will be solving that doubt in the comment section only. I hope you've enjoyed the session. This was not boring for all of you, rather there was more of the information for all of you, and still telling you again, if you have any doubt beta, you can just write that in the comment section and you people will be able to get it. Okay, The link will be provided in the Telegram channel, so you need to join our Telegram channel. The link will be there in the description box. And if you want to join my channel also, which is Economy with Payal, if you have any doubt related to your preparation beta, you can join my channel, which is Economy with Payal. That is my Telegram channel, and you can ask your doubts there. I'll connect to you, through there. So all right, thank you so much for connecting with me, and I hope each and everything is clear to you. And now I'll meet you in the next one. Till then, take care. Thank you. Bye bye.